Ever since it went on sale in 2010, Peugeot's weird but appealingly styled RCZ has been a bit of a sheep in wolf's clothing. But with this new £32,000 R model, all that changes in a heartbeat. The engine, for example, is a heavily revised version of the 1.6 turbo that powers the regular model, but in this case it's been squeezed to produce an eye-watering 266 bhp and 243 pounds-feet of torque, enough to send the R to 62 miles an hour in 5.9 seconds and to a top speed limited to 155. The chassis has also been uprated. The R sits 10mm lower than normal and has stiffer springs, higher spec dampers, wider tracks and a touch more camber at the front. And best of all, there's a new torsion diff at the front, which in theory should ensure that most, if not all, of those 266 horses don't just gallop off down the road and into the nearest field. So then, crunch question, what is the RCZ R like to drive? Do you know what? It's actually not too bad. In fact, in many ways, it's actually pretty good, and I really wasn't expecting that from this car. Okay, you look at the headline statistics and the 260 horsepower and you think, oh my goodness me, that's Peugeot trying to put 266 horsepower through the front axle. But it's quite well behaved, and the torsion diff really does its thing very well. There is just a little bit of torque steer, but only in the form of just a kind of very gentle tugging from right to left when you get on it full beans, kind of out of a second gear corner. But beyond that, I'm not sure you can tell which end is doing the driving actually. And when you are in second gear on the way out of a tight corner like this one, when you get on the power, it actually wants to tug the nose in quite nicely. You don't run wide, in other words, it wants to tuck in. That's really nice, lovely touch. The steering is a fair bit heavier than the standard car, certainly than I remember, and I quite like it for that. The exhaust sounds a bit fruitier. It's not bad, is it? It revs out nicely too. It revs to 6.5. The gear change is pretty decent. The brakes definitely feel more powerful, which is good because in a straight line, this does feel pretty perky. The seats are also pretty good too. I mean, you climb in and instantly it feels like a proper sporty car. I just wasn't expecting any of this because the standard car, frankly, is such a disappointment dynamically. It just feels so flat and it just doesn't go properly. It's all show and no go, this standard car. But this one, not only is it quick in a straight line, but it kind of feels perky and alive and urgent through the corners too. Okay, here's the bottom line. I thought this car was going to be pretty quick, which it is, but everywhere else pretty dull, and it's not. No, it is not going to challenge a Cayman along a brilliant road like this. It's still got that kind of slightly grey personality to its handling and its steering and its ride and its braking, but you know, I think it's more than good enough to justify that £32,000 price. And if you're one of the people that really likes the way this car looks, then the RCZ R kind of hits the sweet spot. I'm genuinely surprised and impressed.